You shouldn't just dabble in sex work. I don't think sex work is something that you should treat as like a yard sale where you just do it one time for quick cash. If you're not going to treat it like a career, this is not quick money. It's not something you want to do for a quick $5,000 to go buy a car.
What led you to get into like the adult industry? How did your family feel about it? What did your mom say? What did your dad say?
I started camming on Chatterbait on my 18th birthday, like the day I turned 18. My boyfriend had just broken up with me, and I started Chatterbait that day and had over 30,000 people in that Chatterbait watching me. So that's when it kind of started to set in, like, okay, this is real. Like, this is something I can do.
Hey guys, if you're a loved one or struggling with addiction, please know that help is available. Call now at 833-999-1877 or click the Info Addiction Help link on the top right corner of this video. Addiction specialists are available to offer support 24/7.
Hey, welcome to the Hell Has an Exit podcast. I'm your host, Bryan A. This show is not affiliated with any specific 12-step program. If you or a loved one is struggling with an addiction, please find a local 12-step meeting. If you believe you may need detox or drug treatment of any kind, please call 833-999-1877 to speak to a specialist. The show is sponsored by United Recovery Project, a state-of-the-art drug and alcohol rehab facility. You can visit our website at unitedrecoveryproject.com. Hey, welcome to Hell Has an Exit. Today I have Aria Banks on the show. What's
Hi.
up? How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Don't really know your story. I don't know where you're from or anything, so I'd love to get like some background on you.
I was a military child. I was born on a military base in Virginia, and I grew up in Virginia, and then I moved to Florida, and then spent the rest of my time growing up in Florida, and I've kind of been in Florida ever since.
Okay, so when did you stay in Florida? How old were you?
I moved to Florida, I think, like in middle school. I moved to Florida and started middle school in Florida and did all the way through high school.
Gotcha.
And then I think I went back to Virginia for a little bit, and then I ended up settling in Florida again.
Okay. You like Florida?
I love Florida. I never want to leave Florida. I don't like what the Florida government is doing right now, like with like gay rights and stuff, because I am an LGBT woman. So that's the only downside of Florida, but at least we have Disney World.
Yeah, we have a lot of other rights too that I enjoy, like guns and cars. And there's a lot of things in Florida that I take for granted until I go to like other states.
Yes, like the taxes in Florida are so much better than like out west. I feel like here we don't have as much taxes. I don't even think we have to pay like property tax, which is so nice. I think we have to pay federal but not state. It's one of those like weird in-between states. Florida's kind of like the Wild West.
It's almost like Mexico.
We're super close to it.
Yeah, it's almost like especially South Florida. Like there's stuff that goes on in South Florida that like.
Oh, I know. I was in a hit and run in Miami with an unmarked U-Haul, and I got hit, and I turn around, and I'm like, oh my God, take a picture of his license plate. There was no license plate, and I'm like, never mind. Yeah. I don't want to know what that U-Haul has inside of it.
So, what was growing up like?
Growing up as a military child was...
Who was in the military, your dad?
My stepdad.
Okay.
My stepdad was like literally just always deployed. So he wasn't around much. That kind of like sucked because, you know, I really missed him. So it basically kind of made my mom kind of like a single mom because she didn't really have like a partner there to like raise her kids with her. She kind of did it all herself. So shout out to my mom.
Yeah.
I honestly think I had a very privileged childhood. I was very taken care of. I didn't want for anything, but I did have like a lot of mental illness growing up. So I feel like that was probably my biggest challenge growing up was dealing with like mental illness, especially in my teen years.
Like what, depression?
All of it. I have like a mile-long list of diagnoses that I like to ignore because I don't like to define what's wrong with my brain. Yeah. I like to just kind of like try to work to be better every day instead of trying to give a reason as to why I felt that way or feel that way.
Yeah, especially when you diagnose children, there's a lot of people who are against it because they kind of start to identify as this thing. And instead of like being like, oh, this is the problem, let's get over it, they kind of just fall into that as like their identity.
I don't want to use it as like a crutch or an excuse. Like, oh, well, I'm just this way because I have anxiety. So that's just the way it's always going to be. Or, oh, I'm just this way because I have depression. That's the way it's always going to be. Because I'd like to think that there's a cure or there is a way to get over it and get through it.
Yeah, and a lot of time, like, your words are powerful. So if you keep saying you have anxiety over and over, it'll kind of
like manifests, right?
For sure.
Yeah, like you speak that into existence. Sure.
So what led you to get into like the adult industry? How did your family feel about it? What did your mom say? What did your dad say?
I started camming on Chatterbait on my 18th birthday, like the day I turned 18.
Were you always like promiscuous and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was definitely very promiscuous. And my boyfriend had just broken up with me. Like my boyfriend that I had all through high school, he had just broken up with me. I had just moved out of my house. I moved out of my house at 17 because with my mental illness, me and my mom were like kind of like butting heads a lot. And it was just better for me to like go live with my grandma. So I moved in with my grandma, but I just really wanted to be independent because I don't know, I always just felt like I had conflict with the people in authority over me. And I wanted to, like, even at my job, because I was working fast food. So,
really?
Yeah, I was working as Zaxby's in a drive-thru.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I was over living with my grandma and working at Zaxby's. So as soon as I turned 18, I was like, let's make some money. And I started Chatterbait that day and had over 30,000 people in that Chatterbait watching me. So that's when it kind of started to set in, like, okay, this is real. Like, this is something I can do.
Yeah.
Like,
when you get like success early in like the adult industry.
Like that little taste. Yeah. So I quit my job a week later and was like, screw all of you. Quit my job.
No 2 weeks notice.
No, I just walked out. I just walked out because they were so mean to me. I just, like, one of the managers was being mean to me and tried to say I wasn't sick when I had gotten sick and was like, you can't leave. And I was like, watch me. And then just left because I was already making so much money from camming that I was like, why am I even here? Why am I in this stupid drive-thru anyways? Like, I can just be at home making money right now. So I cammed for a little while until I graduated high school. And then,
so you were camming in high school. Did people in high school know?
No, I did school online.
Okay.
So yeah, basically it's so funny. I would have like my school pulled up in one tab and then Chatterbait in another. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because I turned 18 in April of 2018 and then I graduated in May of 2018.
Wow. That's funny.
So for about a month I was doing both.
Did your family know at the time?
No, they didn't. They never knew I was camming. My family didn't know about anything until when I was in college.
How did you like camming? Like, what type of feelings did you get from camming? Like, was it fun? Was it just like a job? Like,
I was
did you
on
feel
top
sexy?
of the world. I felt desirable. I felt like in control. And I felt like there was finally a light at the end of the tunnel because going into like graduating high school and going into college was like a really hopeless time for me because it's like, I don't want to do any of this. I think I was in like pre-nursing and I was like, I don't want to change bedpans and have like old people yell at me and any other job too, any other like normal civilian job. There was nothing to me that sounded fulfilling, exciting, something that I would enjoy waking up and working for every day. So it was just a very hopeless place to be. So when I started camming and realized, oh shit, I can actually like, this can actually support me. Like I can actually be a grown-up. I actually have a future now. So it really like opened up a future for me. I thought I was just gonna stop at camming, but I didn't because after graduating high school and going to college, I started dating like this 30-year-old who sucked. And he just like, he made us so broke that I had to drop out of college and start dancing to pay my bills. You
were supporting both of you?
Yeah. At 18, I was supporting me and another man and his father.
Okay, maybe that situation wouldn't be. I'm curious on like how do you feel about like people dating at that crazy age group?
Yeah, I think 30-year-old men need to leave girls who are in college alone. Like if you are 30 and you are dating someone who is not even like legally allowed to drink, probably still lives at home with their parents, is still in school, it's like, what do you guys have in common? What is the motivation for that relationship? And obviously I have a personal bias because of my own experiences. I don't see how it benefits anyone but the man.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's kind of different if he was actually taking care of me and he was actually putting me through school like he promised. I feel like maybe I would see things differently.
Mm-hmm.
But it always just seems like these older guys who date like these really young girls.
It's like a predatorial thing.
Because they give them all these promises. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to feed you. I'm going to house you. I'm going to clothe you. I'm going to pay for your school. None of that happened. And it's like, I see that happen to so many girls. It's like, he's going to pay all my bills. He's going to buy me a car. He's going to make my life perfect. And I'm like, he's lying to you. Do it yourself.
It's almost like a fake manager.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm going to manage your whole shit. And then they just like feed off it.
The manager boyfriends. Don't even get me started on those. Those suck.
It's like I guess like a diet pimp.
Yeah, or what they call a Romeo pimp. It's kind of like,
oh yeah,
that's what Andrew Tate did.
Tate does,
yeah, he like convinces these girls who've never done sex work before. And he brags about this. He says, oh, they've never done sex work before, but I convinced them that I love them and then they'll do anything for me, even start doing sex work. And then I'll take all their money.
A lot of like my friends will ask me like, oh, do you like find these girls and like get them to do porn? Like I actually don't like doing that. I don't like.
Me either.
I have zero interest in like finding someone who's never done sex work and like turning them into sex or onto sex work or whatever. Like, I don't know, like I understand like agents, like that's their job to do that. But at the same time, like I feel like most people aren't mentally, spiritually fit to really get into sex work. And there's no like course or training or like, they just like throw them to the wolves. And that's why like, 80% of them drop out after like 6 months and then have that experience.
I never recommend porn to women who aren't already doing porn, especially like mainstream porn.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want to cam, you want to start an OnlyFans, not show your face, like that's cool. Like take it slow. But it always makes me nervous.
Take it slow.
Yeah. Like when a brand new 18-year-old girl is like, I want to shoot mainstream porn. And I'm like, you understand that is a decision. If you go through with it, you will never ever be able to take it back.
Yeah.
And it will change your life forever. And sometimes not for the best.
Yeah, and it's like there are that few that can do it that are like, they have a great career and they really know themselves. Man, it's just like something I'm not like interested in trying to do. Like whenever I shoot a girl who's like 19 or 18, I'm always like,
I think you shot with me when I was 19.
Yeah, when you're 19.
To be fair, I had already been doing porn.
Yeah, you were like already in the industry. But it's like, I've shot girls before and been like, hey, like, are your parents cool with this? Like, like I'm just trying to really, I want to feel like.
It's like an 18-year-old girl comes on set. It's like, where are your parents?
Well, I feel bad because it's like, I want to make sure that she really wants to do this.
Right.
Like, I don't want a girl to be like, well, I just didn't know, or like, well, I don't know. I want to feel okay about it or like better about it, So it's like, I'll ask them like, look, like, is this really what you want to do? Like, how long you been in the industry? And like, dude, I had this one girl who was like, dude, I'm from like Nebraska. I was working at McDonald's. Like, this is like the best fucking thing I got going for me right now. And I'll ask them like, do you want to be in the industry full time? They're like, I have no, like, I just need money right now,
No,
and
that's so bad because it's like, if you're not going to treat it like a career, this is not quick money. It's not something you want to do for a quick $5,000 to go buy a car because that's out there forever now and you can't take it back. So if it's not something you see doing for the rest of your life or as long as you can until like, you age out of the industry, you shouldn't just dabble in sex work. I don't think sex work is something that you should treat as like, I don't want to say side hustle because it can definitely be a good side hustle, but it shouldn't be something like a yard sale where you just do it one time for quick cash because it's something that could change your life forever. But
at the same time, there might be some people that are okay with that. Like some people lie to themselves that they're okay with it, or they're okay with it until it comes out. Like a lot of times people are like, yeah, fine. I don't care. Anyone can see. I don't like give a fuck. And then like 4 years later, they're like married now, or they're like trying to like date. And now this, horrible thing is on the internet that they feel like a lot of shame about.
Yeah. And it sucks because it's like, obviously there is stigma around sex workers. And while I don't agree with it, I can't sit there and say that it's not there.
It would be naive of me to think that I can do sex work and no one's going to have an opinion against it.
Right.
So I do understand that there's going to be a contradictive opinion. People are going to think that it's shameful and not a lot of people are going to understand it. It would be kind of insane for me to think that everyone would understand because it is like a small niche thing that a lot of people don't even discuss or talk about their personal sex life at all. It's not even appropriate to talk about like in most workplaces,
Right.
So how did it go from the boyfriend
to... So basically, after I graduated and while I was camming, I got with this man who said he was going to, I moved in with him. He said he was going to pay for my school because I had actually gotten a full free ride scholarship to any school in Florida that I wanted to go to.
Because your grades?
Yeah, because my grades were so good and I did community service. I ended up giving up that scholarship to live with him in Virginia because I didn't want to move back home because me and my parents were still like kind of like fighting and not on the best of terms. So I didn't want to go back home. And I was like head over heels for him. So I was like, of course I'll move in with you. And I'm getting free school either way. So yeah, he did not keep that promise. He ended up going broke and not being able to pay for my school and then eventually not even being able to pay the bills. At one point, I was literally camming, dancing full time, and going to school full time because I had started dancing to make extra money once once I realized that he couldn't pay for my school. I was like, okay, well, now I need more money to pay for school. So I started dancing. So it was really rough. I would be up until like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd have to drive 30, 45 minutes home, sleep for a few hours, and then immediately.
Dancing in Virginia?
Yeah, because I was dancing in Virginia Beach, but I lived in like Hampton. So that's about like 45 minutes away. I also went to school in Virginia Beach. So I lived and worked 45 minutes away. And I had like just learned how to drive too. So it was a very stressful time. And eventually he just started like taking all of my money, like no matter what, he would just take all of my money. Like I just could not physically make enough money to give to this man to where he would be happy. And he hated my job too. And it's like, why are you with me? But eventually, I just got so sick and tired of being broke. And he was also a cheater. So I was tired of being broke and cheated on. And I realized that I hated college and I did not want to be a nurse. So I was literally just wasting my time and money. And I was like, why don't I just go do porn? Like, why am I still like holding myself back when I know this is what I enjoy and this is what I want to do? So I reached out to an agency and that agency wanted me. And I think it was East Coast Talent. They wanted me, and so I spoke to my boyfriend about it and was like, hey, like, we're in an open relationship because you can't seem to keep your dick in your pants, so I don't care where your dick goes. I'm going to go make money. And he was not down for that. And then he called my mom and was like, your daughter's trying to do porn. You need to tell her to stop. And my mom was like, well, she wasn't mad at me and she wasn't telling me not to do it. She kind of posed the question like, well, what do you want? Do you want a family or do you want to do porn? And at the time, I thought that was her telling me to not do it. And so I didn't do it. And then a few months later, I hit a breaking point again with the relationship. My agency reached out to me this time. And I had sat waiting on that decision for about a week because I didn't want to say no. And I didn't want to say yes. So I sat and I waited on that decision for about a week. And then finally, I hit that breaking point. I booked a flight to Miami and told my agent, I'm on the way. Start booking me. So I flew to Miami in 2019. I think it was in September of 2019 and started my career.
Wow.
Now I pretty much am just kind of focused on OnlyFans because OnlyFans kind of got big in 2020. So I did about a year of like nonstop mainstream porn. And then in 2020, I was doing like porn and OnlyFans. And then ever since like 2021, I've been mostly OnlyFans and then just a mainstream shoot here and there.
What are some things in the industry that like kind of were interesting to you to find out that were like some myths or things like that?
Oh gosh, I experienced so much culture shock going into the industry. I figured we would have to get tested, but I was very surprised to find that we don't get tested for herpes and that herpes is so common. I was like, what do you mean 70% of people have herpes? And that if because the lady at talent testing, I said, why aren't we testing for herpes? And she goes, if we tested for herpes, no one would have a job. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's really considered like, well, if you have an outbreak, you don't shoot.
Of course. It's kind of like everyone's responsibility to like stay on top of that. I work with plenty of people who are herpes positive. And if they have an outbreak, I've had people tell me, hey, I'm having an outbreak today. We have to reschedule. And it's no issue. And I'm to this day negative last time I checked for herpes.
Awesome.
And I work with people who have herpes all the time.
What else about the industry were like shocking to you or things that you didn't think? Like, were you shocked at how serious like some of the mainstream like sets are?
No, I wasn't shocked because I have been like trained my entire life, my entire upbringing. Of course, I told you about the scholarship to be an overachiever. So when I got into it, I wasn't necessarily shocked. I was impressed and I was happy that it was a serious job and that it was something that I could treat like a career and have it be like respectable in my eyes, that it wasn't like scary. I was very surprised that it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be much more scary. especially in the mainstream industry, I felt like so safe and so welcomed. And I've had lots of good experiences working mainstream.
That's cool. Yeah, a lot of girls would be like, I went to go shoot for Bang Bros or whatever, and like it was just like so professional, and it was like a real job. I'm like, yeah, yeah, it's interesting.
Well, that's what I wanted. I was like, I want to do this for real. I don't want to just sit in my bedroom with a webcam anymore. I want to go be a movie star. I want the little clicker and the lights and the makeup artist. I was like, I want that. I want to go to that next level. So I was very happy.
Do you like the script and acting?
I love it. I was like a theater kid.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I've always wanted to be a superstar.
Cool.
I've always wanted to perform. Performing is what makes me happy. I love to perform. I love to be on stage. I love to sing, dance, all of that. So it's just another way to express myself. It's just another way to perform and act and, have people tell me how awesome I am and enjoy the content I make. I always knew I was going to be some sort of performer. I always knew that made me happy. I'm just surprised it ended up being like sex work, but I'm happy.
That's cool. What was like the main difference between doing like collabs and like the industry and like doing like self-produced stuff?
So I started doing mainstream before doing self-produced collabs.
So you were like used to professional shoots, which I think is like interesting. So a lot of girls, it's like is backwards.
Right.
They're like used to doing OnlyFans.
When I started collabing, that's what really irritated me. It's like people would just like with OnlyFans collabs and people who've never done mainstream porn, it's like they don't understand the standard of professionality that mainstream porn has. And I'm used to that. So I have worked with like a bunch of people who are unprofessional. And it's like, it's just frustrating because it's like, for me, it feels like common sense, but I understand that it's not. Yeah, you have to go get tested at talent testing. I'm not going to take a doctor's note. Yes, like I expect like, there to be a good camera and there to be like discussions about boundaries. And I feel like a lot of people in the like self-produced content world, I don't want to say everyone and I don't want to generalize, but I feel like there's some people who kind of treat it like it's a party, like a party lifestyle. And they think it's just like all fun and games. And I feel like that's also a bad image to portray. When you start portraying it as fun and you start glamorizing the job, you start creating this fantasy around it that's not real. And then you have young people thinking, oh, doing porn looks like so much fun. It looks so easy. Look at that person doing it. They're making it look so easy and fun. And it's like not.
One of the main things people have asked me, because like I don't drink, I don't smoke. So like a lot of people are like, oh, is that industry really difficult? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they'd be like, well, I know there's a lot of partying in it. And I mean,
sometimes
I do know that there's some people that like might do drugs or whatever, like on their off time, whatever. I've never ever seen someone like show up to set like fucked up or drunk or even asked to drink on set or something.
I've had people show up to mainstream sets fucked up, but they get sent home.
Yeah, you're like, dude, go home.
Yeah, they're like, go home. Like you're not, like you cannot consent. Like you cannot consent to having sex on camera if you're under the influence of really anything.
Like what I explained to you. Is like, dude, one of the first things you have to do is give verbal consent that you're not on drugs. And if it looks like you're on drugs, it's like no one's even going to take you seriously. Yeah. I've had like new girls in the industry like come and do a scene and like they think they're going to be like drinking or smoking weed. I'm like, no, like that's not going on today.
I mean, I have like casually smoked before I scene, but I smoking for me is like my medication.
Yeah, it's like intoxication.
Yeah, I don't just like freaking take a dab the size of my arm and then go in there like
blitz.
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes I usually start my day with a bowl just to kind of mellow out. Yeah, I don't like smoking too much before I do my scenes because I like to, it honestly makes my mouth dry and I can't like suck dick properly. When I smoke weed, I can't suck dick properly because it makes my mouth so dry. So I don't like smoking. I understand that some people want to take like one shot before, like one drink before they do just to like ease the nerves. But I feel like if you've done more than like 3 scenes, like,
you should be able
and
to
you
just
still can't get through those nerves on your own, then this isn't the job for you.
Okay, so I know like you blew up on TikTok. That's how like
for a time
Bryan introduced me to you again. He was like, oh, this is the TikTok star.
I was very big on TikTok, but TikTok is kind of assholes and they banned me. I had 1 million followers at one point and they banned me and they keep banning me. So I've kind of given up on the whole TikTok career. and just kind of focusing
What
on
was your
serves
TikTok
me.
like, dancing and stuff?
Yeah, I did like little dances. I just made kind of silly jokes. I did a lot of comedy. I made a lot of comedy about porn.
That's cool.
So, especially like with my man, when I don't know if you remember that sound that's like, Bay Wyatt smell like badussy, booty, dick, and pussy. And I made one about like it was like a skit where like I came home from work. So I like walk in, come home from work, and he goes, Bay Wyatt smell like badussy. And then I look at him and go, booty, dick, and pussy. So we like to make jokes about like our relationship and my job. And because everyone likes to say that my boyfriend is just so miserable because I'm just such a raging slut and he just gets no love. He's very happy. We're very happy in our relationship, very secure.
How long you guys been dating?
2 years.
Awesome.
I don't understand why people like to project the narrative of him being unhappy onto our relationship. It's just
Is
so
he big
silly.
on social media?
He's very big on social media. He's a Twitch streamer and he's on TikTok.
Are you tired of sacrificing comfort for style when it comes to your activewear? Well, we've got a solution that's going to revolutionize your wardrobe. Let me introduce you to Bird Dogs, the ultimate shorts for the modern adventurer. Picture this, you're out on a hike, hitting the gym, or simply lounging around at home. With Bird Dogs, you'll never have to compromise on comfort or functionality ever again. These shorts are designed to adapt to your active lifestyle while keeping you looking sharp. Bird Dogs stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. Bird Dog shorts do the exact same thing as Lululemon, but fit way better. They fit way better than regular shorts that are made of stiff, restricting cotton. And Bird Dogs fixed this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki but stretches so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. Bird Dogs uses anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. But that's not all. Bird Dogs have an integrated built-in liner, offering unparalleled support and eliminating the need for underwear. Say goodbye to uncomfortable chafing and hello to freedom. Need a place to stash your phone, wallet, or keys? Bird Dogs has got you covered there too, with deep, secure pockets that can keep your essentials close without worrying about them falling out during an adventure. And did I mention they're incredibly stylish? Bird Dogs come in a range of vibrant colors and patterns, so you can express your personality while staying on top of your game. Whether you're hitting the trails, or hitting the weights, or just hitting the couch, Bird Dogs will be your new favorite shorts. So why wait? Upgrade your activewear game today. Go to birddogs.com/exit or enter promo code EXIT for a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/exit or enter the promo code EXIT and get that free Yeti-style tumbler. You will not want to take those Bird Dogs off. That is a promise.
Welcome to the Genesis House powered by the United Recovery Project. Located in sunny South Florida, we offer drug and alcohol addiction treatment as well as a major focus on dual diagnosis. Our addiction therapy programs include behavioral therapy, 12-step facilitation, psychotherapy, life skills training, and more. At our facility, you can expect a low client-to-staff ratio, daily group therapy, weekly one-on-one therapy sessions, and luxury amenities such as volleyball, basketball, pool, chiropractor, personal trainer, yoga, massage therapy, and more. Contact the United Recovery Project today and let's create a better tomorrow.
He's very successful on social media and doing very well.
Wow, because I was thinking like maybe they just don't see him being happy. I don't know.
He's always happy.
They just must think that
Yeah.
like because you do sex work
Yes.
that he's probably like
Well, they're just trolling. And then, of course, we kind of egg it on, like feed into the joke.
You know what? I want to do stand-up one day.
Yeah.
Would you do stand-up?
Would I do stand-up? See, the thing with like stand-up, because I've thought about it, I like fantasize because I love
Because
performing.
I was thinking it's like the one thing that you can't get banned from.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times people get banned like they build up a huge following, they get banned or whatever. But like dude, if you do stand-up, like you could talk about whatever on there.
I would love to, but it's hard. Like when I think about writing songs, I've never been able to sit down and write a song.
Okay.
I've been able to create songs in the moment when I'm playing and like jamming. So I'm kind of like an improv
Gotcha.
person. So it would be really hard for me to like set up jokes.
Like for like an hour.
Yeah. And so it's just like looking at a blank piece of paper and trying to create something is so hard for me. Like I don't know what to put on that paper. I don't even know where to start.
Wow.
So that would be my biggest thing with stand-up is like, I would love to do it, but like I wouldn't know where to even start, like a joke routine.
Okay, so tell me about your break.
Oh, okay.
Like what led to the break and like what was going on and like how you doing now?
So what led to the break was I was like at the peak of my career and I was working very hard and I was making a lot of money. And obviously when that happens, people can start to resent you for like literally no reason. People just start to resent you. I had this group of content creators who just didn't like me for no reason. I to this day don't know why they hated me so much, but they found where I was staying and I was with like 12 other people. It was like a big collab and they got upset at that and were able to find where we were staying just by pictures we were posting.
The Airbnbs.
Yeah, they were able to find it. They reported us to Airbnb anonymously saying that like we were underage drinking, that we had drugs, that we were filming illegal porn. We got like kicked out and I didn't know who it was. We all assumed it was like this one girl we had to ask to leave because it was like the day after she left. We had asked her to leave and then we thought she had just retaliated. So it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't until I found out that a group of people who I didn't even know personally
They're in the industry?
Stalked me. Yeah.
Weird.
Stalked me and 12 other people for no reason other than to just ruin our job.
Wow.
So that made me feel so violated and unsafe because it's like now anywhere I go, I feel like I have to look over my shoulder and like protect myself. Like who's watching me? Am I being watched right now? Is someone watching me trying to like cause me harm? It's a very scary thing to deal with. So I had to deal with that for a while, especially because I did have a friendship with some of the people who had stalked me after the fact. It was just really upsetting to see like a different side of people and see what happens behind closed doors and, you know, what people don't talk about. I would invest so much money to travel as well. So aside from like the stalking and the harassment, I invested so much money to travel to like LA, Miami, Vegas, and I would go. And because I'm focusing on OnlyFans, it wasn't like mainstream where obviously if I'm booked, I get to show up, it's gonna happen. I was booking other creators to shoot for my website. They would not show up.
Wow.
I'm dealing with that now, this trip as well. So it's like, it's same book, different page. Like people just don't show up. And it's like, my time is so valuable to me. So it's like if I spend thousands of dollars and I'm here for 2 weeks and the person I'm working with lives there and thinks it's fine to just be like, oh, I'm hungover today. I don't want to come. Like that screws me over because I invested time and money in this.
Yeah, people don't understand there's like an ROI. So like when a girl travels, they're like paying for the hotel, they're paying for the flight, they're paying for like, you know, food that they probably wouldn't be ordering or eating out, whatever. So let's say like the whole trip costs like $4,000, you know?
Right, about.
You can easily spend that in 5-6 days. So it's like the trip costs $4 or $5,000. If you don't do 4 or 5 collabs, it's like it's a wash.
Yeah, it's a waste. It's a waste. So I ended up just wasting so much money because people would just cancel on me, like day of, just cancel on me. It happened over and over and over again. Like, so at that point, I'm like, it just feels like my time's not being valued.
I feel like that's all with like collabs.
Yeah,
like whenever someone wants to collab, it's I don't know, it's weird. Like I don't like doing it. I'd rather just do like a paid shoot. Just because once they find out that it's a collab, oh, it's that one. Well, I'll keep you posted and like let you know when I'm coming over or like.
I value my time and I value other people's time. I think that comes from me coming from mainstream though. And that's the thing about like the self-produced content creators. It's like for some of them, I don't want to say all of them because there are a ton of content creators who are, very professional and I admire them because they do it all themselves. And I admire that. But for some, it's like they just treat it as like it's an option. And it's like, for me, it's not.
It's like that party mentality. It's like, oh, well, you know, I'm hungover. I'm going to go eat and then I'm going to chill. And then
maybe I'll show up.
I'll hit you up. And if I'm
feeling
it's like,
right. We planned this 3 weeks ago. I've had it in my planner forever. And like I flew out here for this. So like, what do you mean maybe? What do you mean?
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like I've seen someone take like 13 hours to just like get together and like get everything organized, whatever, to shoot. In 13 hours, I could have shot like 5 different scenes. Like,
right?
I don't know.
You can do so much in 13 hours.
A lot of people they have like, I think they get so much success that it's like so easy that they don't have like, I don't know, I guess like in mainstream, it's like, dude, other people are there.
If you don't show up in mainstream, if you don't show up, typically there's a kill fee, especially if you cancel day of and you're not sick.
Oh, 1,000%.
There's a kill fee. And people kind of side eye that. And I do too, because it's hard to find that middle ground because it's like, typically I won't get a call sheet or a script until day of or day before. And it's like, what if I don't like what's on that script? Now, if I cancel, I have to kill fee.
Yeah,
and everyone's
that's always
let down.
interesting to me is because like even with agents, I was talking to someone yesterday about this, like they don't tell the girl they'll be here for a week and the agent knows all their shoots. And I don't know the rationale between why they would tell them ahead of time, why they don't tell them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the girls like, I have no idea who I'm shooting with this whole week.
It's like frustrating, especially because like I'm 23 now. When I was 19, I didn't mind shooting teen category. But now that I'm 23, I don't want to sit there and lie and say that I'm a teenager. I think that's weird. I think that's catering to something that makes me uncomfortable, and I don't want to be marketed that way.
Yeah, and there's
but I don't know until I show up. And if I say no, then I'm fucking everyone over.
Because there's like a difference between like shooting like a girl that you know is young, but you know is of age, and then like shooting a girl who like looks young and like putting them in pigtails and like some silly teddy bear shirt on them and like making them act like they're even younger than they are. Like that stuff is uncomfortable.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of got roped into that a lot when I was 19. And at the time, I didn't see a problem with it. But like looking back now that I'm 23, I'm like, that's not cool. I don't want people to see me that way. I want to be a woman. I want to be grown. I want people to be attracted to my womanhood, not my girlhood. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
What's going on with your anime?
I love doing cosplay. That's kind of something I've kind of been doing kind of like on the side is like cosplay. And I love cosplaying like video game characters in anime. My favorite anime ever is probably Attack on Titan. And I haven't seen the last season, so let's not talk about the ending because I don't know.
I only saw like a couple episodes, but that's like the next one I need to watch.
Yes, you will love it. Attack on Titan is one of like the most gut-wrenching, miserable shows to watch, but it's so good. I
gotta watch it.
It's so heartbreaking and horrible that you can't look away.
Oh, I gotta see. Did you watch Death Note?
Yes, that was the first anime I ever watched, and I cosplay Misa all the time. That's like my favorite cosplay. She's like my fashion icon. I love the way she dresses. I love her style. I love her blonde hair. I love her attitude. Yeah. I don't love her codependency, but
she's like super cool.
She is super codependent.
I love Death Note. I saw it probably like a year ago. I was like, how did I not see this?
I rewatch it all the time. It's such an easy anime to watch too, because it's only like one season.
It's so good. It's so good. Like I'm just like, wow, it's crazy.
They really changed the game.
It's insane.
Because I feel like most animes, you kind of get like the same kind of like cut and paste style. It's like,
Dragon Ball Z and Naruto are very similar.
Demon Slayer is very similar. Here, My Hero Academia is very. It's all some sort of like ninja heroes, warriors who are training, who have powers.
Goku that like tries to turn people good. That's like
yes. Like but Naruto is Goku and Sasuke is Vegeta. Exactly.
But yeah, in Death Note, it kind of isn't a hero. It's kind of like, it's just like this fucked up thing. And then like the main character, Light, is just like.
You get his character arc is so interesting because it's like you see him and like you kind of like are rooting for him at first, but then you see him like kind
How
of like
evil he gets with the power.
Like dive into like insanity from all the power at his hands.
You know
like,
what? It's kind of like Breaking Bad.
Yes, it's very similar to Breaking Bad. The character arc of Walter White and Light Yagami are like the same. It's like
Light
they start
Yagami
out.
Is Walter White.
It shows like even if you have to do a bad thing with good intentions, that bad thing will ruin those good intentions. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of like makes a point of like you can't fight evil with evil.
I always say you can't expect the right thing doing it the wrong way. Okay, so you're watching Dragon Ball Z right now?
Yes, I am watching Dragon Ball Z right now.
You're in the Frieza section?
I just finished the Frieza section.
Wow.
Yeah. But I found out that Frieza didn't actually die, and that pissed me off because I'm like...
So in Dragon Ball, no one really dies because they could just collect the Dragon Balls and bring them back.
Yeah, and bring them back.
Which is crazy because...
In certain circumstances, right? Unless they've already been brought back.
Is that it?
Right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Isn't there an issue? Infinite. Isn't there with like an issue? Wasn't there an issue with Krillin like coming back?
I don't know. I haven't seen it so long.
Yeah, I think there was like an issue with Krillin coming back. Like
you can't bring him back twice. I thought it was like infinite. But what's interesting is that like when Dragon Ball Z first starts, like collecting all the Dragon Balls like this lifelong mission, and then like they just get like the Dragon Ball tracker, and then like they just go catch them like in 30 seconds.
And then on what's the planet?
Have you seen? Oh, you haven't seen Super? Okay.
No, I haven't. And on like Namek, they have different Dragon Balls. And then I think those Dragon Balls went away when like the leader of Namek passed. So
did you see? I think this is in the Dragon Ball Piccolo movie. Did you watch that?
The only movie I've seen is the Broly one, and then the one with like Baby Boo.
The Piccolo one's cool. It's not really the Piccolo one. They like brand it as like
is
the
it
Dragon
canon?
Ball. I think so, yeah. But they brand it just like a Dragon Ball Z movie, but it's based around Piccolo, like Goku and Vegeta.
I love
like,
Piccolo. I love Piccolo.
It's
so I probably
cool.
like the movie because Piccolo is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so I think the Frieza series part is just like the most boring part. So it gets really good. How did you get into Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball Z is my boyfriend's like favorite anime ever. He has he's working on his Dragon Ball sleeve right now. Wow. Yeah, you guys would like. I feel like if you two met, you guys would get along. Yeah. You guys would be besties.
Because we're just nerds. How far are you in Naruto? Are you?
Ah, God, I haven't watched Naruto in probably like a year or two.
You gave up on it.
Yeah, I gave up on it. I know I'm past obviously all the ninja training, and I don't know. I really don't remember.
Okay.
But
yeah, I started watching it during COVID.
I think I'm like halfway.
It's long. It's crazy long. I started watching it during COVID. It was so good during COVID. And then I kind of like forgot about it. And like then I think like 3 years ago, I like finished it. And when I finished it, it was like the best fucking thing ever. It's so good.
I know a lot of stuff happens with like Itachi that I'm curious about and Sasuke.
It's so interesting because like
oh, I know where I'm at. Let's hear it. Sasuke has just gone to Orochimaru. Yeah, so Sasuke has just gone to Orochimaru, and Naruto's like looking for him to try to getting him to come back. And I'm pretty sure I already watched the fight, the big fight between Naruto and Sasuke over the whole Orochimaru thing, and Sasuke ended up going back to Orochimaru.
Section, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm at that part now where they're like still like Sasuke's with Orochimaru, and it's like Sasuke's about to be converted to like the dark side essentially.
So good. Okay, so you take a year off porn, or 2 years? Was it a year?
A year, about a year. A little bit less than a year. Because to be fair, I did work in October, but it was a very small trip. But the last time I really, really worked was like in July of last.
So what brought you to want to come back to it?
I mean, I was never supposed to be on break this long. I knew I wanted to take a break, and I knew I didn't want to quit. And I thought I was just going to kind of focus on at-home self-created content. But I realized very quickly that I missed like working with other people. I was just like, fuck this. I'm not going to like let the people I'm scared of. Push has to come to shove. Like, yes, I was scared very long of working because of the negative experiences I had. But it's like, I still love this job and I don't want to quit. So something's got to give. I have to like face my fears and just put on my big girl panties and do it. Because if I just sit here and say that I'm scared forever, I'm never going to go back doing the thing that I love. It feels different now. I have to approach work with a little bit more caution. I feel like I learned, I processed, and I feel more confident in coming back.
What are some things that you would tell like your 19-year-old self when you first started?
So much. I would tell her to mind her damn business. Just don't speak on anyone. Even if something does something that you super wholeheartedly just disagree with and think is super wrong, don't speak on it. Don't get involved in the politics. Don't do that. Just work. Just be professional.
Yeah, because a lot of times there's so many things that go on in the industry and like you only see bits of it on Twitter and like you don't know the whole story. You don't like know what it is. And then it's like sometimes like speaking out about it, like just
it backfires. It always backfires.
And like even the person you're trying to protect will go crazy on you. Like I've seen that, you know?
Yes, because actually the people who stalked me and the other people and basically made me feel like it wasn't safe to work, they actually started hanging out with some of my personal friends who aren't even in the industry, which is really weird. And I reached out to those friends and I was like, hey, I want to let you know like that this happened, that those people like did stalk me and did basically they tried to SWAT us because they said that we were doing something illegal. The cops could have been called. Like it was going in that direction, you know. Luckily the property manager was like kind of chill. They still wanted us to leave, but they weren't like going to get the cops involved. But it could have gone to that. So I was like, hey, these people you're hanging out with put me in a very unsafe situation not long ago. Just want to let you know. They got super mad at me, unfollowed me. And it's like, I've lost plenty of friends because I've spoken up about something, you know? And it's like, damn, like y'all just don't want me to like keep you safe. Like I'm telling you for your safety. I'm not trying to cause issues, cause drama. I'm telling you because I want you to be safe and for you to watch your back. Why are you mad at me? I'm trying to be nice to you. And that's the most frustrating thing is like, and then of course, when all this stuff came out recently on Twitter about the guy who was like doing OnlyFans and like a lot of girls had bad experiences with him, I spoke up on that as well about my bad experience with that person. And that also backfired because it's like he's spent so much time trying to disprove what I was saying by saying like, well, you still sold the video, so it must have not have been that bad. And it's like, do you genuinely think if you cross my boundaries in a video, if you go against my boundaries, you don't ask me for consent to do something, do you think now I'm not going to sell that video and just, you know, go through all of that for nothing?
Yeah, and it's like sometimes it's like, yeah, it was still like an uncomfortable experience or whatever. And it's like, yeah.
But I still like, especially now I have to get something out of it because, you know, it was a bad experience. I'm not going to get nothing from it, but a bad time. Of course I want to make some money off of that because if I don't, then it was literally for nothing. I got myself in a bad situation and got myself hurt for nothing if I don't sell that video. So of course.
Yeah, I saw stuff like that. Yeah, it's interesting because like a lot of times in like mainstream, it's like pretty normal to go through like what people are okay with, people aren't okay with.
Yes.
I did a scene yesterday and the girl was like super into rough stuff. She's like, slap me. She's like, I don't have any other shoots. You can bruise me, whatever. And I was like going through everything. And then I was like, okay, like spit in your mouth. She was like, no. I was like, okay, I'm glad I asked. You know?
Right.
So it's like, I don't know, because people have their thing. So it's also like the girl's responsibility to say like, hey, I particularly don't like this or whatever. But also it's like when I do scenes and like it's a little rough or something like that, I constantly want to check in with the person and be like, hey, are you okay?
And also like if you're going to be doing not specifically you, but if anyone is going to be doing BDSM at all and you're on the dominant side, you are the dom, it is your responsibility to practice BDSM safely. So like there's ways to tie people up. There's ways to asphyxiate in a safe way. And that is your responsibility as a dom to know how to safely restrain people, safely do breath play, safely do impact play. If you're going to do it in an irresponsible, unsafe way without asking for permission, you're not doing BDSM.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I'm very aware that we're creating content. Yes. So like, I don't like, so some girls will be like, oh, well, it really turns me on, whatever. Like, okay, that's fine. Like, I just want to triple check and make sure that like you're okay or whatever. Did you guys do like an outro video? Is that common with collabs?
Yes. Personally, in my collabs, I like to do intro, outro because that's just what I'm used to. And of course, even if I have had a bad experience, I've never sat there and said that during the outro because it's so much pressure. It's like, what? So I'm just going to sit here and say that, yeah, I didn't like when you did that. Like,
it is intimidating when it's just like one-on-one. Yeah,
when they're like holding your paycheck in front of you, like, are you sure nothing happened to you? Right? Yeah. Nothing happened, right? Okay, here you go.
For sure.
Yeah, so it's like, I wish there was a different system for that, but I understand why you don't get paid until after the shoot. I just wish there was maybe like an anonymous way to like kind of talk about your experiences.
Yeah, a lot of people like hit me up and are like, oh, why don't you do more like rough stuff or whatever. I actually don't like doing it on camera unless like I know the girl and I've shot like regular stuff with them and I feel comfortable enough to do it. But like for me, it's just like too much of liability and also I don't get like turned on if someone's like uncomfortable. So like, if I don't know, if I'm not like 100% sure someone's comfortable, like I don't like doing it.
In BDSM, both parties are allowed to have boundaries. Obviously, the submissive is going to have boundaries and those are important, but also the dom's going to have boundaries. Some doms aren't comfortable with impact play. Some doms aren't comfortable with breath play. Some doms aren't comfortable with certain things. And it's like, for me personally, when I dom men, I'm down for anything. Like I have no limits as a dom with men. Like I will, anything that a man asks me to do to him, I'll do it pretty much. But with women, I don't know. I feel a little bit different and I find it very hard to dominate women because I don't feel comfortable like hitting them or spitting on them or degrading them like I do with men. So it's like, I do have those boundaries as someone who does play the dominant role in sexual experiences. I do have those boundaries because it's like, while you might enjoy it, it's going to make me uncomfortable, and I'm going to leave the scene feeling bad about myself for hurting you.
Yeah.
I super understand that.
Before we go, what was your whole take on like the Adam 22 thing?
Oh, like Lena working with Jason Love. Honestly, at first, I was trying to like stand up for them and say like, hey, like not everyone who's in a relationship with a porn star is a cuck. Like that's not a nice thing to say about someone who's not a cuck, because my boyfriend gets that too. People call him a cuck all the time when he's not. He doesn't watch my scenes. He doesn't want to hear how big the dicks are that I take at work. Yeah, he respects my job, but he doesn't turn them on.
So define like a cuck is like someone who like enjoys the humiliation.
Yeah,
so, like,
someone who enjoys watching their partner have sex with other people.
In like a humiliating way.
And yes, the humiliation, because there's a difference between voyeurism.
Voyeurism, that's hot.
Yeah, because I love voyeurism. I love exhibitionism. I love watching my partner or partners have sex with other people. But if they start to degrade me about it or do it behind my back, I don't like that. And so I'm not a cuck. And my boyfriend's not a cuck because he doesn't enjoy that either. So I tried to stand up for them. But honestly, some of the stuff they've been saying, I think they're kind of playing into the joke.
For sure.
And they're kind of trolling at this point. Adam is displaying just a little bit of cuckery. So maybe he is one. I don't know. Maybe he is one. No judgment here. I love cucks.
I think he's just playing
I think he's just fucking with everybody. I think he's playing into it.
Yeah.
But I generally don't think he's
doing a great job like rolling with the punches.
Yeah. But also it's like, it's just frustrating because it's like, now you're kind of like perpetuating the stigma around all porn stars' boyfriends being big cucks.
Yeah, I think that
so it's like a double-edged sword. It's like I'm glad that you're like that they're like not like taking it too seriously and using it to their advantage and making it a joke, but also it's like I don't want to perpetuate the stigma because it is hurtful
of like people being called cucks that aren't.
because it's not nice. It's like bullying to call people names.
To me, I think it's like it's more shocking that they went this long without doing that, because it's like, dude, she does porn, like I don't know, and I know like everyone has their thing, but it's at the same time it's like she's letting him fuck all these girls for years. And I think it was like super respectable. She wasn't like, whatever, you get to fuck all these girls, I'm gonna go fuck me, this guy or whatever, and film it. They talked about it. It was consensual. Like both parties agreed. They're both making money off it.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it was very calculated with the wedding and then the collab.
Yeah, I thought that
like
was
publicity.
Fire. Yeah, cool. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I super appreciate you inviting me, and I'll come back anytime.
Thank you. Have a good day. I'll see you, I guess, next time.
Yeah, of course.
All right, bye. This show is not affiliated with any specific 12-step program. If you or a loved one is struggling with an addiction, please find a local 12-step meeting. If you believe you may need detox or drug treatment of any kind, please call 833-999-1877 to speak to a specialist. The show is sponsored by United Recovery Project, a state-of-the-art drug and alcohol rehab facility. You can visit our website at unitedrecoveryproject.com.